didn't see you there. Would you guys like to set sail on this ocean of flavor with me? I'll be your captain. I'm Steve Harrington.
And I'm Collin.
And I'm Whitney, and this is Scoops Ahoy, a Stranger Things podcast where we go week by week, chapter by chapter, taking a look at every single episode of Stranger Things. We have now made it through all 4 seasons, and we are in the deep, dark void as we wait for season 5, which feels like an eternity, but we're powering through. So we're keeping everyone entertained. We're keeping everyone entertained by doing influence episodes like last time we did Indiana Jones and top 5s and character deep dives. And this week we decided to do Karen Wheeler, played by Cara Buono, and Mama Wheeler, Mike and Nancy.
I love Mama Wheeler.
I do too.
Yeah. So we don't know a whole lot about her. We can presume she was born somewhere in the 40s, I would imagine, because she's probably 40-ish when the show starts.
You think so? I think she's in her 30s.
I mean, it could be.
Yeah, I think 30s.
I mean, the
because Nancy said that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Nancy said that she had her very young, so she got married.
That's when they got married young. Yeah, I don't know how long they waited, but the Stranger Things Wiki fandom page says that she was born that she's somewhere in her 40s or 50s, which I don't think at all. So yeah, I mean, we can assume. I mean, if she was born in the late 40s, she would be kind of in her mid 30s when the show starts in season 1. So obviously husband Ted, who we all love. 3 kids, Nancy, who was 16 when it started, Mike was 12, and Holly was 3. So Nancy's probably around 18, 19. Mike is 15-ish, and Holly is 6 at the end of season 4. Like you mentioned, we don't know a whole lot of her backstory, but Nancy, in that scene where she was practicing shooting with Jonathan, did say to him, my mom was young when they got married. My dad was older, but he had a cushy job. Money came from a good family. So they bought a nice house at the end of the cul-de-sac and started their nuclear family. So that's what we know about her. As far as her parenting skills, I mean, I'll give her props just as a parent, because she's one of the more or less absentee and, more present parents that we have, and the ones that we actually get to see interact with the kids, which is nice and refreshing.
Right. I'm really bummed that they did not bring her more into the fold by season 4. I really thought that's where it was going.
Yeah.
Like, how does she not know?
Yeah, it's kind of weird because she's gone she's disappeared more and more and more as the show has gone on. So
I know. And then she got her own poster for season 4, which made me think like, oh yeah, she's definitely gonna have a bigger role. But
nope.
Nope.
Yeah, so we talk about the line distribution with our characters when we do those. In season 1, she had 111 lines, which was ranked 9th out of all the people in the cast. And she was billed 9th in the opening credits after, Winona and David and all those guys. By the time season 2 rolled around, her lines were cut by more than half. She only had 41 lines and was number 17 out of everybody, and was billed 13th in the opening credits. Billed 15th in the opening credits in season 3, 54 lines, and did go up a little bit to number 16. But by the time season 4 rolled around, she's not even in the top 20 as far as lines. And she's also not in the opening credits at all. In the episodes that she's in, which is, I think, only 4 or 5 of the 9, she's, billed as also starring,
I know. And I feel like that's like a kiss of death.
Yeah. So, but she has had other things going on, and, she's got her little career going, and she's doing okay for herself, but,
Yeah, but still.
I know. So Cara Buono was born March 1st, 1971. So she's exactly April, May, June, July, August, 5 months older than me. Born in the Bronx. Made her theater debut at age 12. She's done a whole bunch of movies and TV shows, about 25 movies, somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 TV shows. She's been in The Sopranos, a whole bunch of Law and Orders and Law and Order episodes, and even had an Emmy nomination for her role as Faye in Mad Men.
Remind me who she is. I've watched Mad Men and I cannot remember her.
I don't remember it either. I was going to actually look it up and I completely forgot to, but she was Dr. Faye Miller, and I think she was a psychiatrist doctor, not a medical doctor. You know what I mean? And then it was kind of funny. I was like looking at, because I do movie reviews and stuff. And after she did season 3 of Stranger Things, she produced and was actually the top billed star in a movie called She Came from the Woods, which is kind of a cheesy 80s slasher kind of.
Yes. It is like kind of, it's like a camp horror movie.
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
not camp as in
Yeah.
like campy, but like it
Yeah.
looked really good. I haven't watched it.
It's actually not bad. I mean, it's very low budget, but it's kind of fun, and it's really cool how it riffs on all the 80s, Friday the 13th, those kind of things. So I was watching it like a couple weeks ago, and obviously she's the biggest name in it. And then along comes Michael Park, who played Tom Holloway, and Nancy's boss. He's also in it. So she must have brought him along for the fun too, which is kind of fun.
I think someone in our Discord has a connection to Michael Park.
Oh, really?
Yes, I think so. I think somebody went to school with him.
Oh, cool.
Or went to college with him, maybe, or attended the same. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that someone in our Discord has a connection to them.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So as far as her character goes, a couple of really interesting things that I dug up in researching Kara and interviews that she's done. It was her idea actually to make Karen, not Kara, drink wine. And so she actually went to the Duffers and said, she was quoted in this article, said, in season 1, I asked the props team for a glass of wine and as many as possible because I thought, she's really smart. How does she not know this is going on in her basement? 80s parents were definitely more oblivious than they are today, but I thought, well, maybe to self-medicate and anesthetize herself a bit, she drinks. So that was all kind of her idea.
I don't even remember her drinking a ton in season 1.
I
remember her.
Yeah.
I feel like the last episode of season 2 and then most of season 3 is when you get the more just oblivious version of Karen. I feel like if any version of Kara or Karen was going to figure it out, would have been in season 1.
Right.
But she hasn't.
Yeah.
She hasn't.
And then she was also talking recently, I think it was just a couple months ago, she was interviewed, she was on a press tour for something else. And somebody asked her, the interviewer asked her how she thought or hoped Stranger Things would end. And so she said, I love Game of Thrones. And gosh, that's a bold idea. I guess everyone could be killed off. And it would be great if who survived is baby Holly. Like if she was the lone survivor, she'd be like 5 by now. That could be a whole post-apocalyptic thing. And she's alone and maybe who knows what happens to her. She's a blank canvas. So that's kind of funny. So I'll post links to both of those articles on our Twitter feed so you guys can
I would like to see more Holly.
Yeah.
I would like to see more of her involved in what I really, really hope. I mean, at this point, how are they going to say they don't know what's going on? Like, I'm very curious as how they're going to. I really hope by season 5, they just open it up with the town knowing like something supernatural is happening.
Yeah.
How else are you going to explain?
Yeah.
The giant rift that opened up.
The four-pronged rift that is completely split the town. Yeah. So.
Like you can't just be like, oh, that was a wild earthquake we had. Like, no.
Yeah. So I went through and just kind of rewatched everything just to kind of flip through and see Karen stuff. And obviously we talked how she's much more around in season 1. She's actually the first adult that we see in the show, not counting the lab guy at the beginning, but she's the one that breaks up the party. And then throughout season
8:30.
Yeah. You've been playing for 10 hours?
Yeah.
But then we see her really, trying to bond with her kids, first with Mike, after she comes home that day that Mike ditches school to stay with Elle. And she's like, you can talk to me. And then in the very next episode, episode 3 of season 1, that's when Nancy comes home late from Steve's and she's like, you can talk to me. So she's, she's really trying to bond with her kids.
I know. And Nancy's so mean to her.
Yeah.
In season 1, I feel like she just is like so dismissive of her mom. Like it's almost like she thinks that she's better than her. And you can tell even in that conversation with Jonathan, she like looks down on her mom for doing that, for marrying in like this, starting her nuclear family. Like she looks at it like a bad thing.
Right.
But then we learn in season 3 that like, I just feel like she's kind of unfair to her because in season 3, she's the one that's like, no, like you back off, like you go do what you need to do with this.
Yeah.
But your job or whatever.
Yeah, after she gets fired. Yeah. Yeah. Stick with the story and everything. Yeah. So then she goes through kind of season 1. She kind of comes and goes. Like episode 5, all she really does is helps Nancy gets ready for the funeral and offers to let her wear her shoes and that kind of thing. By the time season 2 rolls around, she's not even in really 4 of the episodes. She's absolutely not at all in episodes 7 and 8. In episode 2, she's just taking the pictures of the kids in their Halloween costumes, and then she's just a voice on a phone call in episode 6. Season 3, she's nothing at all in episodes 3, 5, 6, and 8. Episode 7, she does have that scene on the Ferris wheel with Ted and Holly, but really not a whole lot other than that. And then season 4, she's hardly in at all. She's got one quick line in episode 1, nothing in 2, 3, 4. In episode 5, she's in the background cooking breakfast. In episode 6, she's got a couple lines with the police when they were interrogating the kids, and she's seen at the town meeting with Jason.
Did you feel like that she was going to take charge of something?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I felt like when I was like, oh, this is it. Like, this is when she's going to step up to the plate with the other parents and be like, look, like.
Well, yeah, because there was that scene right after,
I guess.
Well, right after the kids run away at night, after the police are there, Callahan and Powell are there interrogating them, and the kids run away, and all the parents run out looking at them. The camera zooms right in on Karen, like dollies right up into her face. And I'm like, okay, Mama Bear's, going to be coming after him. So, and then, but yeah, episode 8, nothing at all. And then episode 9, she just has that quick shot when the rift is going of cradling Holly against the chair.
And at the end with the snow.
And then the snow scene at the end. So that's it. So.
I am and I know we won't get to see it because there's too many characters and there's not enough time. Like, they've created all these people that I'm so interested in. I would love to know more about her and Joyce's relationship because, like, she brings the casserole over when Will is missing, that's when Holly sees the lights or sees the thing in the wall or whatever. And Joyce is kind of mean to her.
Yeah, very dismissive, very, get out of here and you need to go, that kind of thing.
Which was for her sake. She didn't want Karen to get hurt, but still Karen had no idea. And I would be like, well, excuse me for trying to help,
Yeah. Well, I mean, you get the sense too that they're
two different
on opposite sides of the tracks. I mean, so, obviously their kids are best friends, but beyond that.
But if Karen, I guess we don't know for sure if Karen grew up in Hawkins.
No, we don't.
I don't know if they, because we know Joyce and Hopper did. It'd be interesting to see if they knew each other in high school. Like, you could kind of see Karen being like the peppy cheerleader while Joyce is out like smoking with Hopper. You know what I mean?
I mean, well, we can presume from what Nancy said that, she's lived there since they got married, but, who knows exactly when that was. Right. And if she was there beforehand, who knows? So we went through and did, just to have fun, kind of our top 5 Karen moments of everything that she's done. So
I knew this was going to be on yours.
Yeah. I thought that's just such a great line. It's so fun.
I knew it.
So, episode 1, season 1. I hope you're enjoying your chicken, Ted. It's such a great line. I mean, it should be. I mean, we could have called our podcast that.
Yes, we really could have.
It's just so fun.
For the second one we have on our list, it's her in the bathtub and she's flirting with Billy. She's reading a romance novel, and she's got all the bubbles and the candles, and her hair is like the perfect, like, it's like the hair you strive for to like just, you just throw it up and it looks like that. And her hair is like perfectly adorable or whatever. But people get really upset that she was flirting with Billy.
Absolutely.
And it's like, it is a little weird, but he's 18, so it's not illegal. And I know it's going to blow people's minds and people are going to be like, well, it's still not right. And no, it's not, but it's like, times were different back then and kids matured faster. So while it's still icky, to the point of like, well, I probably wouldn't do that, Karen. It's not like I saw her as like, oh, she's a predator.
No, not at all.
And I feel like a lot of kids see that today and think that because it would be creepy today. It would be because kids are not nearly as mature. Like it's a weird thing, I think, for the younger generations to grasp.
Yes.
And
I think it would have been, I mean, infinitely worse had she actually gone through with it. I mean, that would have been,
yes. But they have to remember she's a stay-at-home mom. Ted is Ted, and he's not giving attention to anybody. Like, he literally doesn't know that the world's ending. He's sitting in his recliner reading a newspaper. And so I can't even imagine the amount of attention he gives to his wife. It's probably, and she's she gets annoyed with him at the fair. Remember, she gets annoyed with him. Like,
there's a couple for everyone, and she kind of rolls her eyes and heaves a huge sigh and stuff.
Like, oh, this is who I picked.
But I thought she was so great in that scene as an actress. I mean, I thought it was a really
I think she's adorable. And actually, set aside the rest of Billy's arc, like pretend like the rest of it doesn't happen. If you just saw that snapshot of Billy, I think he's adorable in that.
Oh, absolutely.
Scene. But like, you can't, knowing everything else that he does, like he's a big racist dirtbag. But just if you only saw that clip from the series, you would think like, oh, that guy's pretty charming.
Yeah. So that was what we thought is number 4 Karen moment. Number 3, I went with the scene when Nancy comes home in episode 3 of season 1 after being out with Steve at the party and Barb disappearing, and the way Karen and her interact. And just the fact that she was upset, obviously, that Nancy came home so late, but she's still trying to get her to talk to her, and she's still trying to get her to open up and, let her know that she's there for me. You can talk to me and I'm here for you. And
I feel bad for her. I feel so bad for her in that scene. Yeah. Like it's heartbreaking to know that like something's going on with your kid and they're not comfortable enough to tell you.
Right.
Like I got lucky enough for Evie. Evie is an open book. She and I don't, honest to God, I don't know what I did to get a kid like that. It's nothing. Like, it's just her nature. Like, it's just how she is. She will come to me when she's upset, and it helps that she can't lie for the life of her. Like, she can't do it. Like, there's been times where I'm like, you're not telling the, it'll be something silly. I'm like, you're not telling the truth. She gives herself away.
Right.
So it's awful to think about, Karen in that particular situation.
Right.
So, sorry, it's my turn. Next, we're doing where she gets made up for Billy in season 3, and she's I forget what song is playing. It's like a very classic.
I just died in your arms tonight. Cutting Crew.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, and she is getting ready, and she's putting on that lipstick, and she's gotten herself all dolled up to go have a rendezvous with Billy at the motel or whatever.
Yeah.
And she comes downstairs and she sees Holly asleep in Ted's arms, and it just kind of hits her that, oh, I've got a really great family. I can't do this.
Yeah. And she doesn't speak a single word in that scene. And it's just so good. I mean, she does such a good job of it. It was so incredible.
Yeah. You can read her face.
Oh yeah. And then the other thing, I was kind of deep diving on her. She actually changed. She actually asked for that scene to be changed because it was originally scripted that she would come downstairs and just see Ted in the chair.
And she asked for Holly.
So she went to the Duffers and said, you need to put Holly in his lap. So it's more about the family and not just about the marriage, which I think is brilliant. I think it's,
that's really smart.
I mean, looking back at it now, it's just such a great idea. So I'll include a link to that article too, because it's really good. There's a lot of good stuff in there about that. And then our number 1, I think it has to be the scene in season 3, episode 4, after Nancy gets fired and they have their heart to heart in the kitchen. And they're just really honest with each other. And Karen's like, you need to do you. You need to, kind of follow
take the reins and screw what everybody else says.
If you believe in this, just finish it and don't put up with their bullshit and just do it, which I think is great. It was just such a really good scene. So I think that's kind of Karen in a nutshell. So
that is Karen in a nutshell. So are we ready to move on to some emails?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'll take the first one. This is from Ashley, and she says, this is my first time emailing in, but I have been a listener for a little over a year now, and I absolutely love it. Always gives me something fun to look forward to. Well, I'm glad that you feel that way, Ashley.
Yay.
A little bit about me. I am a sophomore in high school and from Virginia. I am obsessed with 80s movies, music, and all of the above. And one of my favorite things on the podcast is all of the 80s nostalgia you guys talk about from your childhoods. I mean, I wasn't alive, but I still love it, of course. Like, it is very romanticized in pop culture, though. I will say that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Curious to find out if the movies coming up this summer beat the movies last year. I'm obsessed with Top Gun Maverick and several other movies that came out last summer. I am a big Stancy shipper, and if they don't get back together, I'm going to be very disappointed. So sad I didn't get to email in for the Steve and Indiana Jones episodes, one of my 2 favorite characters of all time. Anyways, here are my thoughts on Karen Wheeler. She said, I love Cara Buono playing Karen, and she does a wonderful job at it. Still a little weirded out with the thing that happened with Billy. Again, you're a product of your time. Like that's
sure.
why.
Yep.
I always love the relationship with Karen and Nancy. It's more highlighted in the earlier season and there isn't a ton really, but she really is a good mom to Nancy. And that was very refreshing. I will always love the little scene with the two of them after Nancy is fired from her job, and was a nice moment for the two of them.
Yep.
Next, she said, I know you guys have talked about this, but I love how almost every time Joyce and Karen have a conversation, it's always about where the kids are, right. And neither of them ever know.
True.
That was the way it was.
Yeah, it was.
We literally had a commercial reminding people to check to make sure your kids were home.
Right.
In the 80s. They literally had to put out a commercial to be like, hey, are your kids home? They should be.
Right.
Actually, I saw somebody say that was created because there was a serial killer at the time. Is that true?
I don't know.
I don't either. It doesn't sound true. It sounds made up.
Yes. Urban legend.
Okay. And next she says, I was terrified for her in the one scene when Billy slams her face at the pool. Didn't really happen, but my mouth dropped and I was genuinely concerned. I was too, because I thought there was a very good chance that Karen might die.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought for sure that was a big chance. So that I was like, oh no, when that
completely happened. Flinched and jumped at that one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Gotta love every time Mike is on the phone and yelling back and forth between those two. It reminds me when I get in trouble, my mom is in a completely different part of the house. Yes. Ted is such a downer, but she just smiles awkwardly and tries to ignore it every time. I always laugh a little bit.
Yep.
And she says, anywho, I hope you guys see this and thank you for making the podcast. Love listening to it. Hope you have a lovely day. And I'm hoping season 5 isn't too far out. Until next time, Ashley, over and out.
Thank you, Ashley. Next one's from Harry. Whitney and Collin, hello. I'm so glad you're doing an episode on Karen. I love that character, mostly because Kara is doing so much with a role that seems so thin. That is true. Mm-hmm. I love that moment in the first season when Nancy has just come home after curfew and Karen knows right away what happened, but Nancy isn't grown up enough to confide in her mother. Karen's expression when she says, you can talk to me, broke my heart. At the time the show came out, my own son was at that stage where he doesn't want to share things with his parents, so that moment really hit me hard. Even after so many rewatches, I still get choked up when I see Kara's performance. Weirdos on Reddit like to get all worked up about the fact in season 3, she and a bunch of other moms were eyeballing Billy at the pool and that she was seriously tempted by the pass he made at her. Personally, the only thing I didn't like about it is that they didn't follow up on it later in the season, except with that sigh at the fair. Finally, one of the biggest complaints I have about Stranger Things is that the size of the cast means there are characters who should have a relationship but don't. Eleven was in the Wheeler basement in season 3 while Karen was cooking upstairs. Have they met? What sort of relationship do they have? How well do they know each other? Does Karen know she's Brenner's Russian girl? Why didn't season 4 give us Karen's reaction to Eleven's new Annie Lennox style cut? I absolutely require a scene with Karen and Elle before the show is over. Nancy can be included to give it some extra spark. Karen has to be interested in Mike's sweetie pie, and I won't consider the show complete until I see her get to know her son's one true love. Thanks for keeping the podcast going, Harry in Seattle. Yeah, they have never had a scene together that I'm aware of.
Well, she hugs her at the end, right? In 4 when they come back from California.
Oh yes, you're right. There was that one quick scene. Yeah, that's right.
But that is the first time that we see them interact. I do think that it's just supposed to be, we know that they do at this point because she knows that they're together by season 3.
Right.
Now whether or not she knows that's the same, I assume she does. I don't know though, because the kids haven't told her about the upside down, or else you would never let your kids leave the house. You would move.
It would have been funny if Ted came out and said, oh, what happened to your hair again?
Yes, like him out of everybody, like the man who notices nothing.
Right.
Like, wait a second, is that the same girl? Okay, our next email is from Skipper Melody. Hey, Collin and Whitney, Karen Wheeler is an enigma. She has had so many major character shifts between each season, so I'm going to go through this season by season. Season 1, best mom. Karen is so caring and wants her kids to trust her and talk to her. I truly believe that if Nancy had talked to Karen about her and Steve after their night together, but before Nancy realized Barb was missing, they could have had a really nice conversation as mother and daughter. Of course, that is not what the show is about, so that is not what we got. Season 2, wine mom. What happened? I guess that her kids and her husband annoyed her so much that she decided to drink all of her problems away. That way she didn't have to deal with anything. She's always drinking, completely ignoring her kids and not caring where they are or what they're doing. It's how parents were. Like, I know it seems like if we're gonna dog on her, I feel like you can't dog on her for that, because that is how every parent was.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Her and Billy, why Duffer Brothers again?
Sure.
Again, I swear if you were older, you would see it differently. Like, it's not like acceptable, like really.
No. But yes, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
It's just like, oh yeah, whatever. Like, I mean, you guys watched any 80s movies? Like there's a lot of like creepy stuff that would be, or stuff that would be considered creepy now that happens.
Yeah.
So season 3, Redemption Mom agrees to go out with Billy and then feels guilty for cheating on her husband and what it would do to Holly. So good job, Karen. Tries to be more active with Holly, but still could care less about her other kids.
Right.
Has a reality check at the end when Mike and Nancy at the Starcourt Mall. Season 4, closest to season 1 mom, actually cares about all the kids, offers breakfast, is strict on Mike about the time his flight is leaving, etc. Hosts all the parents over at her house when the witch hunt for Eddie starts in the town. Season 1 and season 4, Karen, are truly my favorites out of all of them. And I just have no idea what midlife crisis she was going through in 2 and 3. Anyways, see you on the flip side, Skipper Melody.
All right, next one's from Eve. Ahoy, Collin and Whitney. Hope you all are okay. Not going to lie, when I heard the next episode was Mama Wheeler, I instantly burst out laughing. So this week should be a fun one. Here's my top 5 things about Karen Wheeler. 1, she always has so much respect for Nancy and her dreams. When Nancy got fired from the Post, Karen believed in her and told her to get back on her feet, even though she didn't know the full story. Great 80s parenting there. Number 2, she has a zero tolerance policy for lack of input from her husband. In season 1, when Ted said nothing throughout the whole Steve, Nancy, Mike basement argument, we were blessed with one of the greatest lines of the season.
I hope you're enjoying your chicken, Ted.
What did I do?
What an amazing woman, she says. Number 3, she's a pretty loyal person to the sleeping human that is Ted. Like, she got this hot teenager knocking on her door, inviting her to a swimming lesson. And after all that, she decided to stick with Ted and her family. Number 4, she only wants Mike to be safe from the minute Brenner showed up at her door to the moment they reunite in Hawkins. His safety has always been important to her, even if she didn't always know where he was. Anyway, that's all I got for Karen. Also, I had my prom 2 days ago. It was super insane. As always, thanks for your hard work on this podcast. Love from the UK, Eve. Hope you had a great prom. Yeah.
It's a late prom, right?
I'm assuming super insane is a good thing. So let's hope for Eve's sake. But yeah.
Yeah, really. Okay. Next one is from my buddy Harriet. She says, "Hey, Collin and Whitney, I loved the last episode, even if I couldn't contribute to it. Karen is an okay character for me. Sometimes I feel like she could be more involved in Mike and Nancy's lives. Maybe that's just an 80s thing or a me thing. Because it feels like she could stop a lot of the dangerous situations from happening, even if it was considered mean or annoying, like the whole going out biking in the rain at night thing in season 1. I also, did she know that they were going? I feel like she didn't know.
Well, they knew they had to go home. So, I mean, if that's the scene we're talking about.
No, the one in the rain where they find.
Oh, right. I was thinking at the beginning.
I feel like she didn't know that was happening.
Could be.
I also think that she needs to check herself sometimes before situations happen. Like the whole Billy thing in season 3, which I found totally icky and gross. But she redeemed herself and didn't hook up with her son's friend's older brother. Overall, though, Karen Wheeler earns a B+ on my character scale. Not the worst, but not my very favorite. And yeah, I do think rowing is a bit of a safety hazard. A total of 4 people capsized this year already.
Oh my Lord.
Although we were totally safe out on the dam, there were about 10 times out on the water with our coaches and water safety. We also had the coxswains controlling the boat along with the other 3 people actually rowing. It's been super warm, but also super cold in Queensland. Like it'll be 20 degrees Celsius, but feel like 25 or 20 degrees and feel like 6. Anyways, that's all I've got. Have a great week. Love, Harriet.
Yay, thank you, Harriet. Next one is from Ellie. Hey, Collin and Whitney. I've got my dance performance tonight and straightened my hair yesterday. It's so much longer than it's curly and it's ridiculous. Anyway, not much news this week, except I saw Sophia, my pen friend, who she mentioned in the last one, and she was super, super sweet. On to Karen Wheeler, who is definitely the character who has changed her appearance the most other than the kids. Like compare season 1 Karen to season 4 Karen. She really embraced the 80s fashion, you know? Also off topic, but I'm convinced that Holly is going to have some sort of big role this next season. Like they keep showing her each season and she's got a bigger role in season 4. So maybe. Also, Karen, dear, what were you thinking? Billy is some 20 to 30 years younger than you. Why would you even consider a relationship with him? If you're going to cheat on Ted, at least do it with someone closer to your own age. But I hope you're enjoying your chicken, Ted is such a great line. I love it so much. Love, Ellie.
Oh, thanks, Ellie. All right. Next one is from Audrey. She says, "Hey, Whitney and Collin, it's Audrey again. I won't be able to listen to this episode because I'm going to summer camp the 1st through the 16th. I'm 12. I don't know why, but Indiana Jones was still boring for me. I watched it again. That's disappointing. Now to Mrs. Wheeler. I love her character. Here's my top 3. I love Kara's hair in this role. I loved when Karen and Mike had the conversation about Nana over the phone. Yes. And I love when she and the ladies were showing off to Billy. I thought it was so funny. Love, Audrey.
Thanks, Audrey.
That was that one. I'll take the next one too. It's from Tori. She says, hello, everyone. It's Tori with the crochet potato. Did I hear Colin say he didn't know why Disney was making live action movies? Anyways, I heard online the main reason for this is that Disney wrote in his will that every 10 years, Disney classics will be remade for every generation to enjoy. But I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not.
I don't know if that's true or not. And I don't know. When I say I don't know why, I'm like, why are they doing this? Not like, really, why are they doing this? I'm like, why are they doing this?
Yeah.
It's just.
I thought it was because, they put some in the vault.
Yeah.
I didn't know if that was it. Like they take them out of the vault.
Yeah.
Every 10 years you can buy them. And then there's some that you can't ever get anymore at all.
I mean, it just seems to me, Disney is always known for their imagination. The people who work there are Imagineers. That's what they're called, so just to keep trotting out the same stories. And yes, it's live action versus animated or whatever.
It's still the same though.
It's still the same movie. So, make something new and, I don't know. So yes, I know why they're doing it, but I don't really know why they're doing it. So that's the difference. Yeah.
When you guys start talking about snow, I got confused. I live in Utah, so we could experience all 4 seasons in one day. It was about 80 degrees, but I was still wearing a hoodie. Thank you for thinking that my potato is cool. Also, it doesn't take long to crochet a potato. Anyways, this is very long, so I should get to the chase. Karen Wheeler is my mother figure. She's got me to learn how to pick locks and learn that you should follow your dreams. I love how Karen loves to kid with Ted. Karen and Ted are one amazing power parents. Anyways, I don't really have much more to say about Karen. P.S. I don't know what I would do without this podcast. Thank you guys so much. Munson out.
Hey, thank you, Tori. All right, next one's from Quinn. Hey, Colin and Whitney. I really don't have much to say about Karen Wheeler. She's not my favorite with all the Billy stuff. It's just gross. Her hair evolution is funny, I guess, but I just don't like her. That's really all I have to say about her, but I did start watching Freaks and Geeks, and I love it. Also, I have a music recommendation. If you haven't heard anything by Lawrence, you need to listen to them. They are amazing. I've never even heard of them, actually, but I'll certainly check them out. My favorite right now is Don't Lose Sight, the acoustic version. I also have a musical theater recommendation if you guys like that kind of stuff. I just watched Chicago recently, and it was so good. It's very, very good. I've seen the movie. I haven't seen the actual show, but yeah.
Yeah, I've seen the movie.
Yeah, the music is incredible, and one of the main characters, whose name I can't remember, is played by Morticia Addams in Wednesday, and that's
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Catherine Zeta-Jones. I also love the Heathers musical too, and I thought I'd mention it because it's more 80s. Gray really likes that. She likes the
I don't think
Heathers
I've ever seen the musical.
She Gray listens to the score all the time.
Oh, okay.
She hasn't seen it, but yeah. If my high school ever does a production of that, I really hope I get cast as Veronica. Barrett Wilbert Reed, who played Veronica off Broadway, is amazing. Anyways, I don't have a lot to say about Karen, as you can tell. She's really just there for me. Honestly, though, I think a character deep dive on Ted would make for a great episode.
Oh,
Thanks for reading my last 2 emails from Quinn.
All right. Thank you, Quinn. Next up, we've got Dax. He says, hey, Colin and Whitney, my name is Dax and I'm from Utah. I've been listening to your podcast for about a year now, and I have always wanted to write you an email, but wasn't sure if you would read it. Well, there are those that we just don't read sometimes.
That's true.
There's one each week that we're like, this is the one that's not getting read. So if you're reading this right now, thank you so much. I've always loved Karen Wheeler and thought she's a great mom to have. My top 3 moments are when Karen is eavesdropping on Mike when he's on the phone with Elle, her not beating the living crap out of Mike and Nancy in the first season. The kids were jerks and did things behind her back, and she still loves them. That's a super mom right there. Listen, it's what happens when you're a mom.
It is.
Can't help it. And his number 1 is her ultimately not going with Billy to the hotel pool. She realizes that she has a perfect family as it is. And sorry if this email is super long, but I just wanted to tell you that my top 5 favorite characters from Stranger Things, and they are number 5, Hopper, 4, Max, 3, Dustin, 2, season 3, Robin, and number 1, Steve the Hare Harrington. He is my role model. Thank you so much for reading my email. This has been Dax. Goodbye till next time.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for Dax writing in. And that's all the emails we got on our beloved Mama Bear, Karen Wheeler. So we do have a couple emails, people that were kind of late to the party on other things and other things. So we'll go through those, and then we'll tell you what we're doing next.
Yeah. So in our category of other emails, we've got one from Breezy. Breezy says, hello, my name is Breezy, age 29, and I'm a big fan of your podcast. I just recently found it, but have been on a binge ever since. I really enjoy how you two incorporate a bit of history and or background on several aspects of the show. I'm probably one of the biggest fans of Stranger Things ever. I even have a Stranger Things tattoo. Ooh, I want to know what it is.
Yeah, cool. Send us a picture.
Is it the 11 on your arm?
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah, just like
a ton of people would have those. I think it's cool. So thank you for putting my Stranger Things knowledge to the test and also expanding it. I just wanted to say hello and introduce myself, and I can't wait to continue on this podcast journey with you two. I'm currently on season 3, episode 2 of your podcast, and I get excited for each next episode. I am dreading the day I catch up and can't listen all day, every day. Thank you for taking the time to produce and release your work. I hope you both are doing well. Breezy.
Speaking of, putting their knowledge to the test, where has Sophie D gone?
Oh, yeah.
We haven't heard from
quizzes.
her in a month, and I'm still waiting to find out how many Eggos boxes Elle had in her arms.
Oh, yeah. Sophie, where you
Sophie.
been?
Or Sophie's little sister.
Yes. We'll take either.
Get the ball rolling. We miss you.
Yeah.
Come on back. All right. Next one's from Megan. Hey, Collin and Whitney. I'm so happy I found your podcast. It's incredible to have found a whole community that is addicted to Stranger Things as I am. Here are my list of my top 5 funniest moments. Number 1, when Max steals the car in season 2 and Steve comes to consciousness and freaks out, and then Max yells, "Everybody shut up." That's a good scene. Number 2, when Dustin tries to get Max to join the Hellfire Club and he realizes she's being totally sarcastic. I just love how excited Dustin is at first, and then the slow roll to the realization. Number 3, when Steve, Robin, and Nancy are in the woods and Steve and Nancy have their cute moment, and then Steve just yells, "Robin, slow down, Robin, Robin." Just the way Steve says Robin at the end, sense made. Number 4, at the end of season 3, when Max, Lucas, and Dustin are packing up and Lucas and Max totally make fun of Dustin's never-ending story, and then Dustin just flips them off. It's a cute scene. Number 5, in the scene where Dustin, Max, and Lucas are being interrogated on the couch after the little night swim, and the police ask if they've seen Eddie, and Dustin goes, "The psycho freak killer." I love it. Also, I had a fun idea for another episode you guys could do, top 5 duos. I think it'd be fun to do a deep dive on some of the most platonic duos like Dustin and Steve, romantic duos like Hopper and Joyce, and even some unexpected duos. For example, I love Steve and Max's dynamic.
That's a really good one.
That is a good one. Steve is such a protective older brother for her. Forgot to mention this, but on the pod for season 2, episode 4, Collin brought up TV tag as his Collin moment. Now, I might not have been born in the 80s. I was born in 2001, but in my elementary school, we loved that game. It was awesome.
So it's official. Kentucky was the only state that never played TV tag.
It says, "Stay strange." Thank you from Megan. So thank you, Megan. I appreciate the little TV tag validation. So
yeah, thanks, Megan.
Yeah.
All right, we have another email from Skipper Melody, and she says, "Hey, Collin and Whitney. So I actually have a TikTok page under the same name with a Disney lore playlist that goes way farther into this than I will get into here, but here's a basic summary. If you guys don't remember last week, she mentioned Jock Lindsay being part of Disney Secret Society, and I was like, what Secret Society? And
right
now this is her explanation. Imagineers building Disney parks began planting hints of a secret society within their Disney parks. The society is called the Society of Explorers and Adventurers, or the SEA. This society is featured heavily in Tokyo Disney SEA for obvious reasons, but is starting to appear more and more in other parks. This society connects storylines from rides like Big Thunder Mountain, all 4 storylines, The Haunted Mansion, all 3 storylines, Jungle Cruise, Pirates of the Caribbean, and Tower of Terror, to name a few. Indiana Jones himself is not a member, but Jock Lindsay, his pilot, was. Indy also got to team up with another group called the League of Adventurers, which is featured in Shanghai Disneyland. And in doing so, actually got to meet the very same league that would also discover Atlantis, the version inside of Disney's animated film. As a big fan of this society, I'm very excited to see if there are any hints of it in Dial of Destiny. There were hints of it in the Jungle Cruise film, and with Haunted Mansion releasing at the end of July and a Tower of Terror film on the way, I'm curious to see if Disney will turn the SEA into a cinematic universe and if Dial of Destiny will be a part of it. When I related it to Stranger Things, I was doing so to say that not a lot of people know about the society, and in Disney lore, the only people who do are either members or fellow people who are passionate about exploration and discovery. In Stranger Things, those who know about the Upside Down are those who have direct contact with it, and otherwise it is kept as a secret from the public. Didn't mean for that to get so long. See you on the flip side, Skipper Melody. I actually went and watched several of Skipper's TikToks. She's adorable and they're really, really good. And I got sucked into a whole, I went down a deep rabbit hole.
Oh yeah, you sent me the Return of the Jedi one. That was really good.
Yeah. They're really good, Skipper.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm still not 100% sure on what this whole lore thing is, but
I don't get it either, but I'm very I'm just enthralled by it. I still don't understand. Is this a secret society that people real people exist in, or is it just characters created by Disney within the Disney universe?
Yeah, I don't know. It sounds kind of like Easter eggy, which is always kind of fun. So
yes.
And I should probably mention I did see Dial of Destiny. I have no reference point on whether or not
it's connected.
Any SEA stuff was in it, but I did see it. Harrison Ford is old, but I mean, it was fine. It was fun. It was not up there with, Raiders or Last Crusade.
But better than Crystal Skull.
Yes, I think it was better than Crystal Skull. I mean,
Did Spielberg do Crystal Skull?
Yeah, he did all of them except for this one. So yeah, James Mangold did this one.
Oh,
but
okay.
I don't know. It was long. It was 2.5 hours at least. It was somewhere in that neck of the woods.
That is long.
But I mean, it was good. The cast was good. Sala came back for a couple quick scenes, and Marion was back for a quick scene at the end, which was kind of neat to see them. And I mean, it was very Indiana Jonesy, but you really, and I was sitting there watching it, and I'm like, I really miss Spielberg, but I don't know exactly what I miss about Spielberg. But I was just trying to think back to Raiders and Last Crusade and stuff, and just like certain shots or certain way things were framed or something like that, or the way it. And so I don't really know exactly what I missed, but it was very palpable that Spielberg did not direct it. Mangold did fine,
I was gonna see it until I talked to you about it, and now I'm like, well, I'll just wait. Like, I'm not gonna go to the theater to see it. And plus, 2.5 hours in the theater just sounds miserable to me.
Yeah, that's a long way. So
yeah.
All right. I think we got one last email. It's from Jason. Says, hey, Collin and Whitney, it was perfect timing with this influencer episode because I intended to do a rewatch of the Indiana Jones films due to the new movie coming out next week, which is last week. As a kid, I was a huge fan of Temple of Doom. I also enjoyed the other two original films. I would watch them all frequently over the years. I saw Crystal Skull in the theater, but I don't think I've watched it since. Neither have I. I do intend to do a rewatch of it as well prior to the new film. I don't know if the 15 years in between will make me think any differently about the film. In rewatching these after having seen Stranger Things, I would say, in my opinion, the biggest influence on these films was on Hopper's character. He's a gruff action hero like Indy. If the films were made today, I could see David Harbour playing the role of Indiana Jones. I missed getting my email in for the last episode, but I also wanted to say that my favorite episodes from season 1 are episodes 1, 7, and 8. The vanishing of Will Byers had me hooked right off the bat with that crazy, scary opening and the kids playing D&D. I was in for this show from the get-go. The bathtub and the upside down were the culmination of this amazing season, which filled me with so much 80s nostalgia and brought me back to my childhood. It is funny that I actually waited a few months after the first season came out before I watched the show. I remember they had an advertising campaign on the subway line here in Toronto. There were ads for Stranger Things, and there were rotary phones set up, and when you picked it up, you heard Will's voice talking to Joyce. It creeped me out so much, I avoided the show for a bit, but then I heard all of the 80s nostalgia stuff was in it, and I had to check it out. I watched, and I was hooked. I couldn't wait for the second season, and after watching both seasons multiple times, I decided I would introduce my wife to it, and she is not a horror fan at all. So during the seasons, I would warn her about any scary parts coming up. She loved the show and continues to love it to this day. Anyway, sorry, getting off topic. Let's talk about Stranger Things. You're on topic.
Yeah, you're fine.
Yep. Love the podcast as always. Thanks, your friend Jason from Toronto. So.
I do love a good interactive marketing campaign, and they did it after... They did it after season 2, where there was a number you could dial. It was like Hawkins Electric, I think.
Yeah, I remember they had Murray's phone number.
That was after season 3.
And then they had the pizza
his
one.
phone number was the actual coordinates, and it was where Hopper was in Russia.
Right. Yeah.
And then after season 2, it looked like an old poster on a subway, and it was like Hawkins Electric, and you could call it. Okay. But I can't remember what the message was when you called. Like, it was a legit phone number, but I can't remember. It sounds vaguely
familiar. Yeah. And then you had the pizza one after season 4 too. I remember that one. With
the
Argyle.
Oh yeah.
You could call him. If you haven't tried, don't try before you deny.
Oh yeah. Yes.
So. Okay, right, so go ahead.
Sorry, I cut you off.
No,
that does it for this week. Next week or next time we are doing
another top 5 episode on July 20th. And this time we're going to do top 5 duos or top 5 best duos. So we are taking the advice of, who was it that suggested it? Oh, Megan suggested it. So July 20th, we will be back with another top 5 episode, top 5 best duos. And that could be anything. That could be Joyce and Hopper. That could be Steve and Max. That could be the Mind Flayer and the Shadow Monster, or the Demogorgon and the or Dustin and Dart, whatever you want to call. So it doesn't have to be romantic couples or anything like that. So get your emails to us by Sunday, July 16th, and we will get those on for you on July 20th for our next episode. And we hope to see you all then. And Sophie,
where are you? Come back.
Come back to us. Okay.
As always, you can find us on the socials at Skips Ahoy Pod. And if you want to email in and put your email in the running to not get read, you can email us at scoopsahoypod@gmail.com. And we also have a Discord server if you want to join and talk to other Stranger Things fans. That link is pinned on our Twitter account, and you can just join from there. If you can't, if you don't have Twitter, you can always email us and we'll send it to you.
Yep.
As always, I want to thank everybody for listening, and I hope you tune in next time. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye. Stranger Things audio clips and official score are the property of Netflix. Incidental music by Blue Mount Score from Pixabay.